Congratulations, we are almost to the end. We just want to look at privacy rules. So right now I have users and I have this field called sensitive data. And then I just added some sensitive data into the two users that I currently have. Now this is data that I don't want anyone to just be able to see. Now here I have a repeating group that's displaying the emails of the users, and its data source is just a search for all of the users in our database. So here I'm going to go and inspect this page. Under network, I'm going to just refresh this page and we can see all of the requests to the network, which is essentially our database. So our Bubble application is asking for information from the database, and this is what it's sending back. So I'm going to look at this search. And then let's go to preview and we can see our responses, which is the users that we get back. So we currently have two users. I'm just going to keep opening this up, and these are our two users. If we look at the first one, we can see it's of type user, and if we open this up more, we can see their email, which is what we display on the repeating group, but we can also see the sensitive data, the secret information, even though we aren't displaying it on this page, we are calling the user, and this sensitive data comes with it. Now, I'm not a hacker, but it was pretty easy for me to retrieve this data, and we cannot have our application being so insecure. So to counteract this, we need to use privacy rules. Under the data tab, they live over here in privacy, and by default, all new data types are visible to everyone, but we can define a new rule. And I'm going to call this current user. We need to give it a role, so when this user is the current user, this user being the user in question, then we can view all the fields of this user. We can find it in searches, and we can view attached files. For everyone else, for people who aren't the current user, we can only view the email. I am going to say that we can find this in searches and view attached files. Now we can preview our repeating group, and it looks the same, but if we look over here in our search under preview, we can see that we can no longer find our sensitive information. Now, let's change it up a bit. I am going to say everyone else cannot find this in searches. And let's see what that does. Well, right off the bat, we can see that this repeating group is empty, because for this data source, we are doing a search for all of the users, and we just said that searching is not allowed. I'm going to return this back to view all fields. Let's talk about listings now. Here on the user, I added a field called approved, and I added approved to test 2 and then not approved to test. Now, I only want approved users to be able to see the price of listings. So I'm going to say when current users approved is yes, then they can view all fields. Otherwise, they can view all fields other than price. I'm going to run it as an approved user. and I am seeing the price, and then I can run it as not approved, and the price is gone. And if I try to inspect it, we don't see the price over here. Now I'm just going to remove that. I'm just going to checkbox price so that the user can now see all of the fields regardless of whether they are approved or not. But right now I'm running it as a not approved person, and for some reason I'm not seeing the address. I'm not really sure what went wrong there. I have address right here. Debugging is an essential part of any application, and a lot of the times when you aren't seeing information, it has to do with privacy rules. So I can check over here under default permissions. I can see that I accidentally unchecked the price checkbox. So if I recheck that, it's looking good. While privacy rules can leave room for mistakes like what just happened, they are essential to building a secure application and to protect user data. I'm going to just remove this over here so that all fields on listing can be viewed, but I'm going to maintain this user privacy rules as to securely store this application's users' sensitive data.